What happened in the second half?
I said it at half time to the guys. I said, you know, you've got to go back out and you've got to start at that same sort of tempo, keeping that the way we played, the shape we played, you know, and just keep the tempo high, and then you'll get your result. I said, do not, whatever you do, don't let them give them a chance to get back in the game, because, you know, I've seen this before. We capitulate sometimes when we let teams back in the game, and I just thought the defining moment was the penalty. I know Paul kind of doesn't mean to miss, he doesn't want to miss the penalty, but I think that penalty goes in. It's 3-0. 3-0, 2-1. You know, the defining moments in games, and I thought that would have killed them off. Any hopes of, you know, them getting back into the game. I was really disappointed. Then we sort of went a bit gung ho, and I don't know why we did. I kept shouting onto the pitch, to keep the discipline, and keep the shape, to calm down. I mean, all of a sudden the ball looked like a hot potato, and I can't understand why. When we just you know, we played them off the park in the first half, football-wise. We, you know, just footballed them to death. So it was disappointing for me, really, really disappointing. And, you know, I've seen that happen to us a few times in the season, to be honest with you, David. You know, sometimes it's about what they need to do and what they need to address, and how they need to be able to change that themselves on the park. I was just really disappointed when they got the goal. We seemed to panic even more, and I just really can't understand it. I think that's where you've got to be able to, you know, as an individual, you've got to be mentally strong. And you've got to stick to what you're good at and what we should be doing. In that sense, the reason why I was a bit vocal towards, you know, in the second half, like shouting onto them, you know, to maintain what they've been taught, trying to get people back into shape, make sure people were making recovery runs, because all of a sudden we were getting caught with so many players up front. They hit you on a counter-attack, and, you know, that's what happens. And the penalty, I mean, I didn't. In fact, Paul thing walked across me as Stoney went into him, so I don't know if it's an out-and-out penalty. I don't know. I shall have a look at that. But there you go, you know, 2 penalties were defining moments in the game, and it gave Southport a point. And I've got to, you know, you've got to say to Southport, they're very direct side, as you can see. You know, it's a route one, and they play for the seconds and thirds and fourths. But they put us under pressure in the second half, and I don't think we dealt with it very well.
You mentioned that the penalty miss from Paul Connor was a turning point, and of course it was. But then a few minutes later, the goal you conceded, so much space inside the penalty area, and he's had 2 efforts in on goal. I mean, that must concern you so much.
It does, and you know that's what has concerned me. You know, since I took over, and also when my predecessor was here, we do not get tight enough in our 18-yard box, and I can only tell them to do it so many times, can't I, David? You know, and we drill them in it. We just tell them to give no one space inside the 18-yard box, and if you do that, you'll get punished. So, you know, what else can I do apart from just jump on there and try and shove them into those positions? But they've got to learn to do that, and if they don't, then I have to look at doing something else.
Was there an element to the players thinking that they'd done it at 2-0 up and they've got a penalty, and, you know, they're thinking, oh, this is easy? Was there an element of that, do you think, mentally in the players' minds?
Well, I felt that without a doubt. And I said to the staff on the sideline, I just had a bad feeling about it. I really did, even when we were 2-0 up. I just thought we didn't start right. And then obviously with the penalty miss, it was that old feeling again. And then all of a sudden, it gave them such a lift that we missed the penalty, and then they just came at us in numbers, and that's when we lost our discipline as a team, because all of a sudden we've got left-sided players, you know, not in the right position, right-sided players not in the right position, people running off people, and it's just that is a discipline thing, and you've got to be able to put that right yourself on the park. I mean, I can shout and ball as much as I want off the park, but if they don't do what I'm asking them to do, you know, that's what happens.
It's interesting tonight, you've not once mentioned the amount of players you've got out injured. That's clearly not an excuse for you.
No, absolutely not, because I think with the side I had out there tonight, we should have still won that game. And I'm not going to hide behind any excuses at all. I would never do that. Yes, if I'd have had the likes of Ashley Keynes and Adam Smith, that, you know, there's a big choice then to put in from the bench, especially when it went to sort of 2-1 and then 2-2, you know, to try and salvage something from the game. You know, we've got a point today, but I'm not happy with it. I wanted 3 points.
Do results like this and a capitulation like that as well worry you on a personal note, that you're trying to earn a contract for yourself for next year, and then the team does that in the second half? Do you worry that might end up having repercussions on you when you try and get the job in the summer?
Oh, if it does, it does, and I can't do anything about that. They'll be out of my hands. But I can say, you know, sometimes if I make decisions and I make choices and the wrong ones, I put my hands up. I want players to be able to do the same.
Because players, the second half performance like that, that's let you down, hasn't it?
Well, I've just turned around to them and said to them in the dressing room, and, you know, when you interview them, ask them, I just said, you know, what is the difference? What was the difference? You're the same set of players that were out there in the first half. Why? Because it's a mindset sometimes, and you've got to stay focused, and you've got to stay drilled, and you've got to believe in what we're trying to do as a team. And some of them didn't, and that's what let us down today.